physics, history, and social class, and I lead an electronics club. So basically, on one hand, I'm connected a lot with technology, but main idea today is not to say I'm good with technology. So you can do a lot of stuff if you're good with it, but main idea is to encourage to try to go further and to find answer on a few questions. And first one is how to use it more and how to encourage to create content for students, how to become a content creator, and the second question is cross-subject cooperation. So that's two main focuses of today's webinar of my speech. I'm a bit echoing myself. So yeah, no, I'm still echoing. I have a bit of echo of myself. So I'm sorry if at some point it gets weird because I'm not used to talking with myself in a loud voice, so it feels a bit like that. But let's go on. Is everybody feeling okay? Can you change your icon to okay or not okay? If we can test that part. Do you hear me?
So yes, Echo, just a quick word. There should be a check mark and an X mark. So the check mark obviously stands for yes, the X stands for no. So you can click those to indicate to Edgar that you have understood or that you want to say yes or no. And I see, for example, Amelia has already done that. Annibal has done that. A couple of people have done that. Fortunately not.
So who's listening? Click.
People are posting this in the chat that they can hear well and that they understand. So
okay, so let's go on, and we have less than an hour for us. So main objectives of my speech, what I'm willing to talk about and what I'm wanting to show you is, first one, a bit on 21st century skills, how I see them, and how to find them in your classroom and what to look for. The second one is idea on how to plan cross-subject learning activities and how to involve ICT in the classroom. And then the third one is few examples you already saw, and I saw a lot of questions there regarding those two small videos I posted. So this is one thing, and then please comment on what you want to see more. So the plan, the basic plan is simple. Introduction, which we did already. Then we're going to talk a bit about 21st century learning design and 21st century learning skills, how to plan activities, and we'll finish up with 3 examples and question and answer session. So let's kick off, and I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to write in your chat, what does modern learning and teaching means and implies? How do you see it? If I ask you, what is it to teach modern? What does it mean, modern learning? Can you have your answer? And I encourage you to post some answers in the chat room. Teaching to learn. Okay, teaching to learn. Any other ideas? Can we name some ideas?
Let's just wait a moment. It'll probably take everybody a bit of time to answer.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, please send any chat message to all participants. Hara, Kira, Kidu, you've sent a message only to me. So please repost that message, but send it to all participants.
So there's already some ideas. There's a lot of ideas actually, and some of them are going around. Use of ICT, creative technologies, a lot of different things. So when we think about what does it mean to teach and learn modern, we again have to raise a question regarding the history of education and obviously, yeah, a lot of skills, critical thinking, cooperation, creativity, develop skills, and but when we look on education itself, when we ask how long has education been there, actually it's been for a while. So, with education, it's something like with a bicycle. Yeah, we do not need to reinvent the bicycle because it's already there. But what we are doing with bicycle, we somehow try to adapt it. Somehow we try to make it better, more comfortable for our driving, and so we have to make it something we can actually ride with today. So here we go. We make it better. We make it more comfortable. We make it more easy. We have a lot of different comfort stuff for driving, and there's actually a lot of ways to do it. A lot of different ways to do it, and there's a lot of different approaches actually, and each of you actually has a lot of ideas of different approaches and teaching skills, etc. But one of which I find really interesting and a really great one, it's called 21st Century Learning Design. Basically, it's been here for a while. It's done by UNESCO, I think, and a lot of different people doing something. But that is one of approaches which I actually find simple to work with as a teacher, because basically what 21st century learning design means, it means that we have to assess six competences, six things happening in our classroom. First of all, of course, ICT, obviously, the use of ICT, whether the ICT is, whether we just use something, or are we already creating content? Do we do something more with technologies at hand? The other thing is, of course, collaboration. Does group work means that one person is doing everything, or collaboration means that everyone is responsible for shared result, everyone is responsible for the process management, everyone is responsible for planning process. So a third one idea we have to look for in our classroom is self-regulation. Can actually students be responsible for the way they learn? Do they have their individual plan? Can he choose between bigger task and smaller task, or simpler task? And can he actually make his own milestones and check them? Can he go as fast as he needs to go? And this is, like, as example, one of things which is great about these kind of massive online courses is actually each of you can learn at your own pace. You can watch one video a day, or you can do the whole course for one day, depending on how you learn. Because each of us has different learning styles. Now, three other ones, sort of three more higher skills or competencies. There is one of them is knowledge construction. Is students with task at hand just passively absorbing knowledge, or they actually create knowledge? Are they involved in creating content, something new from previous knowledge? Then, of course, skilled communication, or presenting results, or talking about communicating in meaningful way, somehow resembling what's done in other parts. And last one, but not least one, is real-world problem solving and innovation. So basically, what does it mean? It means that tasks and exercises at hand are actually mimicking the real-world problems. Obviously, when teaching physics, I can simply ask them to calculate whatever velocity or I can actually make them work with real-world problems, like go in a web page, print out the schedule for the train, and make a calculations for speed of train and how fast is it going, what are accelerations and decelerations and everything else. So in that case, they're sort of solving a real-world problem, and then again the question of innovating, of creating part, because that is very important as well for them to have a chance of creating something new. And basically out of these principles, we can actually see, each of us can actually take our every lesson basically and ask ourselves critically, did I had a use of ICT? No, of course you don't have to have it every time, every day, or collaboration, or each of those dimensions. And there's a lot of different rubrics out there where you can actually check what's happening. But when you look on a bicycle from this perspective, in my opinion, this is one of ways how to teach and engage children in modern way. So basically, this is in my opinion one of best tools. But still this is yet one approach. The other one, which sort of me and my colleague were working with, giving trainings and teaching all around, we have sort of came to 5 simple basic principles of what does modern teaching and learning means for us. And first and foremost, main idea is to teach a student, not a subject. So instead of saying my subject is the most important and everything, we actually teach a student, not a quantity, but a person. So it's basically something we have to do with a student in a center. Now the second principle, it doesn't matter as much what you know, but can you do? What can you do with information? What can you actually create? What can you how can you do something? What skills you have? The third one, and then a pretty important one, is to teach and learn how to learn, because each of us have different learning styles, and actually before starting to learn something, kids have to learn how to learn. So they are able to basically learn by themselves, basically learn by their own pace and what to do and etc. etc. So the fourth one is it sounds great in Latvian, but it sounds good as well in English. Transformation of teacher from a preacher to a leader. So basically, what it means, it means that you have stop sitting in front of the classroom and go inside your classroom and be a leader. Do not preach something or some knowledge, but lead children to through interesting tasks, examples, through interesting, engaging activities, actually to learn a content by themselves. And last but not least is do it by yourself and learn together. So basically, it means that everyone has to do, and at the same time learning together, learning through collaboration, learning through meaningful communication, and engaging one another, engaging different problems, and trying to find solutions. So those are basic five ideas, in my opinion, what it means to teach modern. So now, just to test, are you still alive? And because now I don't have even an echo in the background, and it's really not something I am used to, I'm going to ask you simply just randomly put a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which you feel is most important one, or which is sort of jumps out from one of those. So someone said 3, to teach and learn how to learn. So what does the other one think? 4, 1, 2, yeah. So you're still listening. That's nice. And this is obviously it transforms from activity to activity, and in this case, part of this is actually a workshop, so makes me uncomfortable because I'm actually preaching now. But I see most of you for now have chosen number 3, learning how to learn, which is very, 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 very important. And actually, if you teach your students to learn, you don't have to teach them anymore because they can actually learn by themselves. Okay, so let's move on forward, and let's move into the content. Actually, the content and design and planning of content and activity. So my basic idea was a bit to talk about how can we get this spark out in our minds and go for a bit different lessons. And I have heard a lot of people talking about flipped classrooms and different approaches. So I'm going to offer one approach, which is it's nothing new, it's nothing too great, but it might have some it might give you some great ideas. And basically, when we look on lesson plan, on a classical lesson plan, we have several things. So obviously, we have to have some outcome, depending on country, depending on our learning curriculums. But basically, every lesson should have an aim or an outcome. And we have some list of resources of working books, papers, or whatever we're going to use. And if we cut the lesson in 3 parts, then we have basically introduction, we have some usage of information, and when we actually do the work, and then we have some kind of reflection, assessment, and obviously there's something beyond the doors when lesson is over. We have to clear the tables, clear the chaos, and if we had the reflection exit tickets, then we have to read them, etc., etc. So this is nothing new. This is, I guess, in most of the countries, depending where you're from, probably, and it can be. You have to have 2 aims for the lesson, or depending on where you're used to. But this is an average lesson plan for a class. So when we look on different things, when we look on subjects at school, on some ways, most oftenly, when you ask me as a physics teacher which is the most important subject, I say physics, and then I sort of flip my chairs, and when you ask me which subject is most important, I say history. So here's a picture of DNA of genes, and basically, when we look on a subject, each of us in school tends to look at the subject as some kind of unique gene, of unique, something unique, something important, etc., etc. But on the other hand, our subject is creating the whole link of knowledge in our students, and actually every subject has some overlaps. Every subject has something to do with different subjects, and basically subjects in school is like DNA. It overlaps almost with every other DNA out there. It might not be a content, but it might be a skill. It might be ICT, as example. In most of subjects, in most of the subjects, we actually we give children tasks to create presentations or create written text. So there's a lot of different things, but a lot of them actually overlaps, and a lot of them is very, very, very similar. So when we go further and when we look on our students, basically, I like a metaphor that a student is like a spaceman. Like now. Right now there is a new movie, Martians out, so about a guy who lives on Mars. So basically, students and my students in the classrooms, especially the younger ones, are actually something like those people traveling to Mars, because they're studying now in 2015, and they will actually finish school by 2020, 2025. So it's basically 7-8 years from now. So in 7 to 8 years, they will join. They'll go to university, and in 10 years, they will be in a labor market. So I actually, as a teacher, have to give them knowledge. I have to give them skills. I have to give them attitudes, which he will actually use and need in 10 years. So this is basically the space task. So I actually have no idea, and probably most of you as well don't have any idea which will be the professions, which will be the knowledge and skills actually needed in 2025, 2023. So this is a question, and somebody's writing flexibility as very important skill. Yes, there's a lot of different skills. Flexibility, argumentation, listening skills, presentation skills, different. A lot of those skills are needed. The one thing I wanted to sort of point out in this idea is using ICT as totally different skill set, because we might look on skill sets as simple skills or soft skills, and ICT skills as something different. And obviously, reasons why we actually have to take in consideration is ICT skills teaching is because most of the jobs in future and even nowadays will actually need those ICT skills. So basically, I don't know, is it 10 years, 5 years, 7 years, 20 years? I guess most of teaching will just go into digital era. So basically, this is one thing we have to keep in mind, those ICT skills. And the main idea, what I'm proposing, what I'm sort of arguing for, is some kind of, let's call it product-based or result-based teaching, or basically it's project-based learning, that every lesson should have some product at the end, some outcome, something kids have created and kids are doing, and actually it works a lot. It works really great if we interconnect different subjects. And I have done several projects or several lessons together with geography, a lot of with ICT, and some connecting physics and different subjects, literature and social class. So basic idea behind that is that firstly, we actually aim, we talk about skills, what we want to teach to our kids, what will be the skill outcome. The second thing we actually add is some sort of ICT skill, which will actually define the result of the lesson. And then obviously we have a topic and we have a subject, and we can involve several subjects. So this seems a bit absurd, and it seems a lot of sort of, let's say, it turned around, because we're used to plan like, I have a subject and I have some topic to teach, and then I have some knowledge, and then I see which skill I can actually add. No, what I'm offering is turning everything around. Let's talk about most important skills. Let's talk about skills we need to teach, the 21st century skills, and let's add some ICT skills, the more concrete result we'll get. Then we can look on topics and subjects. So simply, it's actually a variation to create a lot of different new ideas and create a simple way how to go into your teacher's lounge and go to any subject you like, and say, let's do something together. I'm teaching. I want to teach presentation skills. do you want to teach it? If you want to teach it, then let's try find a way how we can do it together. How each of us can we find a topic? Can we find a ICT skill? So basically, what it looks like in sort of raw format, where I'm showing some examples, is pretty simple. Now I have pre-listed here skills, ICT skills, topics, and subjects. So not to be biased, and just random 4 skills like presentation skill, which is very important. Talking, giving presentations, talking about reasons, and then the second one, argumentation skill, creating arguments about something, and listening skill, which is very important actually, and finding the most important or appropriate information, which is a different skill. So then I have listed 4 ICT skills, basically a video editing skill, or writing a blog, or coding a web page, or 3D modeling as another ICT skill. So then I have a random 4 topics like heroes, whatever, literature heroes, or heroes in history, H2O, plants, and spectrometry. Then I have listed like four different subjects: history, physics, geography, literature. So now I teach history or physics. So for example, I want to choose, let's say, which one vote. The first one, number from 1 to 4. Can anyone give a number from 1 to 4? 2. So argumentation. Okay. Can anyone give another number? Okay, again 2. Let's go for writing a blog. Now 1 and 3. So heroes in geography. So this is yeah, this is actually something I will show you later on from my example. So if I want to teach argumentation skill, it's probably when writing blog, it goes together pretty good actually. And from history and geography, if I want to connect history and geography, I'll probably choose some kind of, I don't know, Age of Great Discoveries. I actually done a project, and I'll show you later about it. It was not writing a blog; it was creating live maps. So this is one example. Now we can actually interconnect, let's say listening and 3D modeling, basically, and I don't know, plants or H2O, plants, and then literature. So basically we have to listen stories about plants. If you can find any stories about plants, actually we have them a lot in Latvia, and stories about plants. And we can do 3D modeling or creating models of plants. So there's a lot of different ideas, but basically we starting point is actually the skill, and the ICT skill is something which creates us to idea of what will be our outcome, what will be the result. In this case, if it's a video editing skill, so probably the outcome of or a result of this lesson might be a video or video blog, or video writing a blog. Obviously, it will be a blog or web page or 3D model or different kind of outcomes. There's actually a huge list of, and you have already used a lot of different Padlets. I've seen Padlets and videos, and a lot of people have already posted great examples of actually different kind of products of digital products. And if kids are encouraged to create blogs or to create 3D models, actually it's a great chance for them to interactively engage, to become better, and actually to do something. So not to talk theoretically anymore, I'll give you just a few examples. So we'll start with example 1, and those are actually those 3D models you saw in a new web page. One of them was my school, which was a project done by kids. It's not in a classroom. But the other one was medieval city, which is actually part of curriculum I have to teach in a 7th grade. So it's 12, 13-year-old kids. So basically, learning objectives. Well, from a perspective of curriculum, I have to teach them what are main principles of medieval city building, what are the main functions of buildings, and which are the most iconic medieval cities, and what are the differences. So basically, that's something I have in my curriculum written. So I have to, yeah, VP is web pages. I have to sort of teach them to reach those objectives. So then, what I most important information, MI is most important information. Just to make it shorter. When I had these objectives, at first I thought of how could I teach it. I could actually show them some pictures. We could watch some videos. We could actually use a Google Earth to travel around and look on different cities. But then I thought of what actual skills I want to teach them was this. There were 3: collaboration, knowledge construction, and communication. The 3 main things I wanted to teach them: how to collaborate in a group, how to construct a new knowledge, new story on something, and how to communicate, how to present something. And basically, what I already told them: would you be interested in 3D modeling? And my first year, I wasn't good at that. Basically, I wasn't so great, and they weren't either. So we went into a great journey. So we started with 3D modeling software and video editing tools, and this was a part actually was taught in ICT class. I did some brief ideas, but basically they were studying it in ICT class. And the basic product of that, several lessons, it took 2 weeks, basically was a model of medieval city. And there's somebody was asking about software. There's several tools. The most simple one is 3D via shape, which is free, which is really simple. And there's Tinkerkit, which allows you directly to 3D print. And someone wrote about SketchUp. Yes, Google SketchUp actually is great and great, but it's more advanced and it's for more older guys. So beginning, I would suggest start with really simple ones. And you saw one of videos, which is actually a great reconstruction of medieval city. And it's not only they have to build it, they have to present, they have to sort of create a story about their city. So it has to have a connection with real city. It has to have several buildings like this one. Obviously, it has to have a keep, gates, and a church inside. And there's a city center. Obviously, when you watch video, you can have a better idea. But there's a lot of things to do. Kids love it, they enjoy it, and they build it. And then for the last year, I have had a 3D printer, so I actually have a chance of building local. So this is Sigulda's castle here, one on an upper corners, and there's some other things which is actually kids from 7th, 8th grade. They learn how to 3D model and how they come and they print their own city. So this is sort of big idea in some time frame to create something bigger. Now, this is one example. It's not simple. But it's worth it. Kids love it and they try it out. It's actually a great way to learn and do a cooperation between ICT now. Now ICT teacher is every year he's actually teaching 7th grade kids to do a bit of 3D modeling. It goes much simpler for them. Now the second example is about great discoveries and actually about geography. So again, objectives, and in my curriculum I have to teach about the age of great discoveries, who traveled where, what are the main consequences, what was brought in, what is brought out, etc., etc. So I was talking with my geography teacher, and we were talking about something doing together. And basically, the main skills: reading, argumentation, collaboration, communication, and again, knowledge construction. And then obviously, the tool for this, and then to interconnect geography with any other subject, actually, is mapping software, the Google Maps or Bing Maps. There's a lot of them, because basically the result was maps of the age of great discovery. So this is the age of great discoveries, and it's most of you have seen already Google Maps. You can actually pinpoint their travel routes. You can do a lot of I'll try to speak higher because some of you says voice is low. But you can actually basically build maps. You can put points, and other thing you can actually do is add a story to the whole map. And basically from geography, we wanted again to create some more understanding about the world. Actually, it was from one hand it was geography teacher who was teaching how to use Google Maps, but and they were doing it in my class, and this is really something simple and something easy. Is it really so bad with my sound? Okay, I'll write the link to the apps. Those who think that
the sound for me, I can hear you very well, but there seem to be a couple of people who say that it's fading in and out. I think there was a time when you were leaning back when it was a bit quieter, but yeah, let's see if this occurs to many more people and if it develops. But I think for now it should be fine.
Okay, so and what happened afterwards when we created the first ones in 7th grade? The kids at the 9th grade is already actually pretty decent in creating great story maps, and so this is First World War map, and it's actually with 5 different layers and different stories, different writings. And what they actually can do is they can bring everything they know, and they can bring it together and create a decent story. And it's not only actually for history; it can actually be for physics. Let's say different inventions or different laws of physics in different places of the world, or let's say literature, different readers or writers on maps. So there's actually a usage of maps as a way of disseminating information, or using map as a paper is actually a great idea and great tool to do. And third example is actually funny, and it's old one. I have done it. I haven't done it for last year, but I have done it in previously. It's actually from social class, and then there's this part of social class in fifth grade, 5th and 6th grade is regarding the safety. What are the safety risks and what are the health risks, and different ideas on how to be safe. And most likely those of you who have this sort of social class or ethics class have probably has to talk about safety in the classroom. And again, I was thinking about collaboration, actually finding information, communicating, writing, and reading. So I went to literature teacher, Latvian language teacher, and I was speaking about writing and reading, and actually writing articles. And basically, what I wanted to create is word processing. I wanted to connect it with web etiquette, actually, and the whole idea every one of us hates, the copy-paste idea, and it's like something we actually are fighting for. So we decided to create an article for Wikipedia. So basically, there's 43 different articles on safety. This one, as example, is on safety belt, actually created by 6th grade kids. which is funny because they were studying in Latvian language how to create an encyclopedical article, while in my class they were learning about safety. Each of them had different safety topics. This one is about safety belts. So basically they had to write it in, they have to create it, and we were actually able to measure and assess what they have created. So this is the third example. What I wanted to share briefly. We still have a bit of time left. So why this works, and basically why I think this kind of way is more interesting, because first of all, it's productivity. Kids are great and more engaged when they have actually a chance to produce something, when they have a chance to create something. They're interested in it, especially if it's something connected with ICT. The results are actually visible. They have actually they can see it, they can touch it, and it has actual audience. It has real people behind who can actually see it, use it. The skills, each of those tasks actually helps to advance a lot of skills. If the task is huge, if it's actually if it's complex, you can learn different skills. And then the last one is chance to prove himself. He's not so good in remembering facts. Maybe he's good in creating something. Maybe he is basically great at stuff. But this is sort of brief run through some ideas on what to do, what were the 21st century skills, how to use them, and some examples from my side. So we have still 15 minutes, so any questions and answers? No, I will give an answer to ask questions.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Edgar. I think that was an excellent presentation with some really nice examples, really sort of combining the theory with the practice. So I think very inspiring, and some very positive comments also in the chat. Now, as Edgar said, please, I'm sure there are many questions. Please take a moment and write them into the chat. I will feed them to Edgar, who can then answer them. While people are posting in the chat, Edgar, a very quick question that came up throughout your presentation. On slide 8 of your presentation, you had this table with skills, ICT skills, topic, subject. And under skills, there was one point, it said finding MI. And there was the question, what does that mean? What does MI stand for?
Most important information. So if I give you a bunch of text, can you find the most important argument, or the most important sentence, or the most important word?
Okay, excellent. Very simple, very easy explanation there. Great.
I just had to make it shorter so it actually fits the table. So that's
absolutely. No.
There was about apps, apps, and there's a 3D via shape. There's 3D via shape. Then there's a Google SketchUp. I'll actually, I'll send to Benjamin those links, and then you can disseminate them later. And
yeah. Just to add to that, so I'll be posting the recording of this webinar as well as Edgar's presentation on the course. So if you want to revisit anything or have a look at the presentation again, you can access it there. And when Edgar has sent me the links to all these resources he's mentioned, I'll post them on the course as well, so you can access them there as well.
And just to add, I mean, you know, often we don't actually try things because we're afraid of we lack some knowledge and skills. But with kids, if you offer them to do something using ICT, they actually can lead the process, which is in the case of 3D modeling I had.
Sorry, I saw one question that came up here. It was regarding kids with special needs. Estera posted, "It is very hard to use my class with kids with special needs." Do you maybe have any experience of
to use what?
I guess to use the kind of tools or the kind of pedagogies that you've implemented Do you have any experience in a situation where?
Special. I have kids with learning disabilities, also sort of. More sort of. I don't know. I haven't taught anyone with special needs in that sense, but it's probably actually you can use it. You can use it because, like example, writing with children with dyslexia or dysgraphy, for them it's more easier to write on a computer. So actually they can produce better results if they use an ICT, and that's one approach. And I have done it. Often I give them a choice. You can create a 3D model using a computer, but there is an alternative. There's an old alternative we have been building. You can build a sand castle, so you can actually create a paper maquette model. So there is no there is always a choice. You can create a web blog, or you can create a school paper on a wall. Yeah. There's different outcomes, different products.
Just another question that came up on the Padlet on the course. How did you go about assessing this type of work? Do you have any special strategies there?
Assessment. Depending every outcome, every result obviously has to have some assessment. There's three things you can assess. You can assess process and you can assess the result. So there's two parts always. One is the group work, how they cooperate, how they collaborate, and how they evaluate themselves and how they evaluate different people. And the other thing obviously is the result. And in case of 3D models, they actually had to create a really presentation where they were actually talking about every building, talking about streets. So it wasn't so much about actually the buildings looking sort of really nice. It was more about storytelling, what their city is all about. So that's something I can actually give a grade about, the content, the knowledge.
Excellent, thanks. There's a question here from Juliana coming in. What is the age of the students indicated? I guess sort of in the different examples that you showed, sort of what age groups have you used those with, or what can you recommend?
Well, the youngest kids I actually started taught is a 5th grader. So basically, it's 10, 11 years old, and basically, yeah. For the 5th graders, I have given tasks to create videos and create a video blog. So I would guess at any age you can. Actually, one example was just yesterday. I was at my electronics club, and the youngest kid I'm having there is from the 1st grade. So he's a 1st grade kid, and he's actually soldering electrical scheme with 5x5 timer. So it's basically using a microprocessor or a simple timer to create flashing LEDs, so LEDs. So if the 1st grader can do it, probably everyone else can do it.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Thanks a lot, guys. Any other questions at the moment? There was one other question which I thought might be quite interesting in this context that was posted on the Padlet. The example videos that you posted and some of the examples you showed here were these sort of virtual cities or virtual models. Do you know if there's a library of these virtual worlds that can be used without any copyright problems?
There's for most of the tools for not like virtual worlds. I don't know.
Virtual models, maybe not.
Yeah, there is for 3D via shapes. There's actually a inbuilt library. So basically, you can type in a word and find a building, or find a car, or find a model, and put it together with your own. So the same applies for Google SketchUp and everything else. Most of those apps I'm talking, this is a question right now from Rodney in the background. Most of those software I'm talking, they are for free. they are for free because I mean I try to use only open source software. So like Google SketchUp is actually for free. Even AutoCAD, which is AutoCAD Inventor, which is if you want to work with secondary school students on bigger projects, it's for free for schools. So you can apply for student licenses and a lot of available programs and softwares for free. So yeah.
Okay, excellent, Edgars. There's one other question here from Monica. Could I use those tools for Second Life? I guess, do you have some experience of using Second Life?
I have no idea what Second Life game or something, probably.
Virtual world, yeah.
It's a virtual world, so probably yes. I mean, my guess is yes. The video for the school you saw, which is sort of I think it's posted as video one. It's actually the kids created as a map for a game. So basically, all of you know that children like playing some first-person shooter games or something else, and basically it's a map created for a game engine. So basically, you can use it for playing for playing games, and that's one of the ways how actually to engage them, because now they can create a map for games, so they can become a game creator. So this is totally different level of creating content.
Okay, thanks a lot, Edgars. Let's have a look if there's any more questions. Second Life. Well, I think we've covered quite a bit of ground today. I think you've covered a lot of nice examples and theory in your presentation, and a lot of good questions also answered there by you. So a big thank you again to you, Edgars, and thank you everybody for joining us. We were 76 in the end, so a good number for this webinar. I hope you will continue to participate on the course, enjoy the rest of the course. As mentioned, I will post the recording of this webinar on the course itself, so if you want to review anything, you can still do that at a later stage. That will, however, probably only happen next week with the release of the next module. So, thanks to everybody, and have a good, well-deserved rest of the evening, and we'll see you on the course. Yes, and very important, the slide here from Edgars. So if you want to contact him, you can find his Twitter details and email details here on this last slide. So thanks again, Edgars.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it, actually. I hope no one falls asleep. Because this is first experience for me as well. So this is something new.
No, I really didn't get the impression. And I've done a couple of these webinars now, and it really was excellent, Edgars, I must say.
Okay, thank you very much.